Welcome to the Stew, and welcome back to Canada. You have played here quite a bit. I know you're coming to Vancouver, and I know you're going to Toronto, but you have been, well, the Edmonton Folk Festival. Tell me about your experience there. How do you like that?
We loved the Edmonton Folk Festival. And over the years, we have been incredibly fortunate to play some really great music festivals. The first time we actually ever played in Canada was with Elvis Costello at the Winnipeg Folk Festival, followed up by we played in Toronto, I believe, with Keith Urban at one of the big arenas there. So I feel that we have been gifted with some really beautiful musical exchanges in Canada, and we're very excited to continue to spend time up with y'all and make some music.
How was it? How's the Trois Rivières, the Quebec concert you did?
Wonderful.
I have to say, Canada has the creme de la creme of folk music festivals. It's just really, really fantastic, and the supporters of music are just fantastic.
Just as an aside, the Brothers Landreth in Winnipeg, love those guys. Love those guys.
Love those
I got
guys.
to turn you on to the Brothers Landreth. They hooked up with Bonnie Raitt 8 years ago at the Winnipeg Folk Festival. Bonnie said to them, Send me tunes. I like what you're doing. Send me some tunes." It took them 7 years to get a tune, Made Up Mind. Sent it to Bonnie. Bonnie recorded it, became the first single off her new album, the one that's out now.
That is
It's,
so
it's amazing what happens at festivals when things fall into place.
I agree. And actually
Truly.
crossed paths with Brothers Landreth in Poland of all places at a festival. And we arrived on set at the festival as they were playing, and we were all drawn like bugs to a nightlight on the front porch of a home out in the country. And the tones were fantastic. They're such an incredible band.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Anyway, and by the way, Vancouver is the Commodore Ballroom, the legendary Commodore Ballroom.
We can't wait.
Uh, all of the greats, all the way back to Count Basie, and all of those bands, all the way up to present day, they've all played that room, and you're gonna love that stage. And yesterday, your album Blood Harmony launched finally, after
Finally.
after endless foreplay with those singles. Uh, and finally it's here and with us, and so here we are the day after. um what's the feeling of having an album, finally new music to play for people? What does it feel like?
It's the best feeling. We actually started our own record label in 2017 with the express purpose of being able to quickly record and release material to our fans so that fans are able to have a real-time experience of where we're at as artists, as people. So often, artists will make records and then 2 years later, the record label will finally release it. And we definitely wanted to rail against that. So we actually started work on Blood Harmony at the very beginning of this year. We had it finished by March. And by our standards, having to wait until November was such a slog. But based on vinyl delays, we had to be patient. We had to wait so that we could roll out the release beautifully and all together with the vinyl and the CDs and
Yep.
all the kit and caboodle. And here it is. We're hopefully going to be worth the wait.
It is worth the wait. Megan, tell me about, first of all, sometimes I just go right by the titles of albums because marketing branches hand them down. But this would make sense. Blood Harmony. That's how you would describe, say, the Everly Brothers, the Wood Brothers,
Mhm.
and Nancy Wilson from Heart. Like
Mhm.
it's there. You can't teach that stuff. It's what happens in the blood. It's how you
Yeah.
feel. Yeah.
Some of our youngest memories of music are sitting with our mom at the piano and her teaching us to sing harmony. And she sang harmony with her siblings. So it is something that's passed down in the blood. And there's just nothing like it. There really is nothing like blood harmony. And so we did want that to be represented on the album. We love titles of songs and of albums that kind of refer to our siblinghood, which is one of the most important things to us.
Actually, the album there's all sorts of titles that the album could have been called. I like Georgia Off My Mind.
Yes, thank you.
Is that a song about, when I look at my maps, you're born in Atlanta and you're living in Nashville, Music City. I-24 is the bloodline between those two cities, is it not?
Yes, very beautifully said.
But how long have you spent on that bloodline? How many miles have you driven?
Yes. So our parents raised us in northern Georgia,
Yeah.
which is about an hour north of Atlanta. And the stretch between Calhoun, Georgia, and Nashville, Tennessee, it's actually a really beautiful stretch of highway. But we have spent, I think we could say upwards of months of time on that road, accumulatively smashed together, up and down all these years. And so it was only natural for us.
Did you write any songs in there?
Definitely, yes. Yeah, I do think, even beyond just the physical, traversing the emotional significance of, this portion of the country between Georgia and Tennessee and Alabama and the Carolinas and Virginia and Mississippi and Florida, like just this territory feels very present in all of the music that we make. So yeah, we have written some songs on that highway.
And let me keep you in the car for a second, Megan. If you're spinning that dial between Atlanta and Nashville, are you hearing a bit of everything coming out of the speakers?
Yeah, you can find some really great local stations like around, I'm thinking around Chattanooga. There's, I can't remember what station it is, but there is some stations that play great bluegrass and folk music. That's fun to hear over the radio because you don't often get to hear that, roots music over the radio. So yeah, you can find some real good music stations.
The thing is, I can hear it in your music, not just what you sing, it's what you play, how you play. And then I went back and realized that you took lessons on piano and violin, moved on to mandolin, and now lap. I just love lap. I love lap. And what drew me to you, even before I knew who you were or what you looked like or whatever, was the music. I heard you coming out of a radio and I went, what is this?
Wow, thank you.
So what is it? What is it then? Now that we have a sixth album, what do you want? I don't want to put you, I want to put a square in a round hole. I just want to, what does it feel like from your perspective in your world?
I think Blood Harmony feels like the most authentic record that we've made.
Yeah.
And authentic for us is living expansively beneath a big umbrella of roots American music. We call what we do roots rock and roll because it doesn't really say anything, which is kind of our goal. We definitely, as you say, we don't want to try and hem ourselves in any direction. We love bluegrass. We grew up playing bluegrass and Americana, and we love country, and we love the blues, and we love rock and roll. So we want to be able to really stretch out and let every angle of who we are as people and as musicians be expressed in the music that we make.
Megan, you agree? You can.
I agree, and I think that being authentic in music is really one of the most important things. And I think that's what draws people to music, is they're finding themselves in the music. So I think that we're up for creating whatever it is that feels real.
Exactly. And I'm looking for honesty. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I hear in Tedeschi Trucks. That's what I hear in Los Lobos. Mm-hmm. There's no BS. It's just the music. The music stands by itself, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with, especially with those two examples. Yeah.
How does the music start? Does it start with a riff or words on the page?
It depends, a bit of both. I think predominantly it starts with music, but I keep a songwriting notebook and work with titles. I think I'm sort of more in the country discipline in that I work from titles and hooks. So I'll just have little fragments of ideas that I know I can eventually work out into something bigger.
Nice. And it's nice to have the time to do that as well. I saw a quote that you said you were students of the blues. Are you still?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. I think particularly for myself as a guitar player, just yesterday, well, actually just this morning, I was sitting and my YouTube search history is always blues shuffle in E or blues jam in F sharp, trying to really hone my skills and going back and listening to records and thinking of new ways to to tune my guitar. You know, I feel so many of my songs have been a direct tie to Skip James, the way that he has cross-tuned his guitar, and I have sat and studied his recordings and tried to build myself in that mold a bit. And yeah, definite students of the blues.
Definitely in our best moments, we are students of music, because I think, you know, we've done a lot of cover videos as well, and you learn a lot when you learn somebody else's music.
You show that love and passion in your YouTube riffs. Just you guys sitting around, you know, not thinking about the shot or whatever, just playing it. I also, there was a quote there I saw somewhere that said, you mentioned you were following your musical true north, which spoke to me. But it's interesting because the anthem of O Canada includes the words, "The true north, strong and free."
Oh,
That's why we connect with you.
how sweet.
How about that?
I don't know. I mean, do we believe in coincidences, or is it just the way things are? But I like that. There's something about it that speaks to me too.
The Blood Harmony, the whole thing, not just a track, but the whole album, sounds like it was live off the floor, was it?
Yes, that was a distinct decision we made moving into the recording of this process. So when we started our record label, one of the other changes that we made in 2017 was committing to self-producing. So Megan and I really wanted to take all of the creative control into our own hands. So we self-produced, we played the majority of the instruments, which meant that I am a terrible drummer. So I actually programmed all the drums on previous albums using like GarageBand or whatever. So for a handful of albums, we really learned a lot from this process. But in moving into Blood Harmony, we were very much aware that there was a growing divide between how our albums sounded and how we sound on stage.
Yeah.
And on stage, we are a lean, mean rock and roll machine. There's just four of us. We got drums, bass, Megan on her lap, steel, and me on electric guitar. And so we wanted that energy to be expressed in the recording of this album.
Mm-hmm.
Megan, did your sister want you to be a lead singer?
Yes, you know, when we first started playing music, it was with our eldest sister, and she was the one that sang lead, and then Rebecca and I harmonized around her. So when she decided that she, you know, music wasn't for her, it was just the two of us, and I think we really argued quite a bit about who was going to sing lead, because we both consider ourselves musicians first and not as much singers. We love to harmonize. But I was like, I'm not into it. So she ended up taking lead, and I'm so glad she did, because it turns out she's pretty darn good at it.
Pretty good. Did you want to do that, Rebecca? Did you want to step forward? No.
No, I mean, I think particularly in the last 6 or 7 years, I have really begun to enjoy the responsibilities of being a lead singer, because there's more like physical commitment to being a lead singer. Like previously when we've been on tour, if I get sick, it affects the performance. I don't go out and party, or like I don't drink, don't smoke on the road, don't do anything, because the voice is its own instrument. And so I think now that I'm in that lane, and now that I do identify as a lead singer, I've begun to really enjoy the fruits of it. But it has taken me probably the better part of 5 or 6 years to really fully get behind.
Okay, let's trade favorite songs off the album, if you could. Can I do mine first?
Yes.
Deep Stays Down. That song didn't just fall off a truck. It was worked on. That song has got a lot of history to it, even before we heard it.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Absolutely.
You have such killer ears, and I love this conversation so much.
And that's got to be my favorite. I think that's my favorite recording, because I think we put so much effort into it and spent a lot of time on that song and making sure that it was right. It went through so many iterations. You know, it started out as a hoedown, and then it was dark and moody, cinematic. And we stuck with it because we knew the song was worth it. And then it finally got to where it is now. And the process was a process of patience. And I think it was worth the patience.
And I'm a huge Bobby Gentry fan, and her version, like when she sings Billy Joe McAllister,
Yeah.
You jumped off the Tallahatchie Bridge, and there's so much happening and so much left unsaid in the storytelling. I feel that that was one of the reasons we were so committed to spending the time on Deep Stays Down, because it shares a similar energy. You don't quite know what's going on.
Yes, you want to get the story. Okay, let's just talk for a second. Is this the biggest tour you're about to launch, 2023?
You know, for the US, yes.
Yes.
We have been so fortunate over the years to develop and be supported by a really incredible network abroad. So we've done some really extensive tours across Europe to the tune of, 7.5 weeks type tour. But here at home, this is our biggest headline tour, the Blood Harmony tour to date, and we're so excited. We really are.
You can jump in anytime you want, Megan. How was the experience of Willie's tour? The Outlaw tour.
It was amazing. Just to be able to share the stage with the legend himself, and to get to see him perform those iconic songs, was really inspiring. And, we got to get up and jam at the end of the night. Every night. It was very, very special, not something to be taken for granted. And then also the other artists on the bill, the caliber of talent out on the road was something to behold, just really, really inspirational. It was a really cool way to spend our fall.
Yeah, it's like taking music 101. Yeah, it's fantastic, because you learn. Just when you think you know everything, you realize there's a lot to learn. And
it never ends.
And here's the cool thing. Every time you go out on stage with somebody, or you play those festivals, every time you do your YouTube, every time you release an album, you find another audience, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Well, we sure hope that we're, providing something, like Megan said earlier, something real for people, because I do think that we all need it. We need the arts, we need music to help serve as reflections for who we are as people, what we all have in common. I think that music is one of the things more than ever throughout history that serves as the connective tissue between people of different walks of life. So we certainly hope that's our goal, is to bring people together.
You can both comment on this, but we talk about how music heals. We do, and I believe it. And we lose people along the way, and music heals. It just does. And so we're talking to an audience now, a huge audience for CKUA, and they have all told us over the last couple of years, you saved us being in the rooms playing that music for us and doing those interviews. You literally were the key that kept us sane and safe. And so,
what a beautiful service.
Yeah. And when you get that feedback, you realize how important it is.
Amen.
Oh yeah.
All right then. I've run out of my official time. Somebody will come and point a finger at me and say, "You're done." This album is going to take you all over the world. Again, you're going to be busy. I don't know how many times you're going to go up and down I-24.
Hey, it's been such a treat to speak with you. Thank you for the time today.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
We'll see you in Vancouver. We'll see you in Toronto.
Oh, yay. Good.
Okay.
We'll be looking for you.
Thank you. I love your music. I can't wait to tell the rest of the story.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay,
See you soon.
bye.
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 Bye.